I didn't go looking for anything supernatural. I only went looking for help when my life stopped making sense and my luck crashed the same week my savings did. And that kind of desperation makes you believe in things you used to laugh at. After I lost my job at the medical company, the one that finally got me to a 5-figure salary and made me feel like my life was finally starting, everything collapsed fast. Bills stacked up, calls came from banks, and people who used to greet me suddenly talked to me like I was contagious misfortune. Friends said, "It's just a phase." But phases don't follow you into your sleep. And there was a heaviness in my house that felt like stale air that moved even when the windows were closed. A colleague whispered about a Thai spiritual master near the border, saying not everyone should go, but people like me sometimes had to. And I told myself I'd just look, because pretending you aren't curious is easier than admitting you're scared. The journey took hours, the road narrowing until the shops thinned out, and the temple wasn't a golden shrine like in photos, but a quiet shop lot with faded paint, incense smoke leaking through the door, and offerings left like small apologies to something unseen. Inside, there were shelves of small statues and childlike figures with painted lips and glassy eyes, and the air smelled of incense, old wood, and something sweet like condensed milk left out too long. The master did not look mystical. He looked ordinary in a way that made it worse, with calm eyes that seemed older than his body. And he didn't ask my name before he said, "You are tired, and it is not the kind of tired sleep can fix." I laughed a little to break the tension, but the laugh came out like a crack in something thin, and I realized I hadn't really laughed in months. He didn't promise miracles and didn't threaten curses. He simply said some people walk with things they picked up unknowingly, from places or people or moments where their guard was down, and sometimes another being could balance it, like a child spirit that helps if you respect it. I didn't want to believe in that, but I also didn't want to keep waking at 3 a.m., feeling like someone small and patient was sitting at the edge of my bed watching me count the ways my life had failed. He led me to one of the figures, a small childlike statue with gold paint, glass eyes, and a faint smile that didn't look happy or sad, just aware. And he said it wasn't a toy and it wasn't decoration, and that whether I believed or not, it would still believe in me once I took it. I told myself it was cultural, symbolic, psychological. I told myself anything that let me carry it out without admitting that my hands shook when its eyes seemed to catch the light even when we weren't near a window. Back at my rented room, things didn't become cinematic or dramatic. No doors slammed, no shadows stretched, but small things changed in ways that felt like someone rearranging my life by hand. A payment I'd been waiting on suddenly cleared after weeks. A stranger who owed me money finally replied after months of silence, and yet the house felt more crowded at night, even though I lived alone, as though there was now an extra breath in every room. Sometimes I'd smell sweet milk in the middle of the night when my fridge was empty, and sometimes I'd wake because I felt like something very light had just stepped off my chest and was standing beside the bed waiting for acknowledgement. The master had told me not to treat it like a toy or a joke, and not to forget it entirely either, or even though I told everyone I didn't really believe. I still found myself talking under my breath when I left the house, saying, "Watch over things." Even though I hated how automatic it became, I started to place small drinks near it, not because I thought it needed them, but because not doing it made the room feel colder. like holding eye contact too long with something you don't want to understand. My dreams began to change. Not nightmares exactly, but vivid scenes where a small child stood just out of reach, never speaking, always watching my reactions like he was learning how I worked. People around me said I looked better, lighter, luckier, but I felt the opposite. I felt tethered, like my life had been tied to something that didn't live the way I did, and good things came with strings I couldn't see yet. When lights flickered, I found myself whispering, "Sorry," without knowing why. And when milk curdled faster than it should have, I poured new milk without thinking, like an apology ritual my body had learned before my mind agreed. I told myself it was psychology and stress and suggestion, yet every time I considered throwing the figure away, the house went very quiet, like a held breath waiting to see what I'd decide. I don't tell people I believe, and I don't tell people I don't. I just say I'm being respectful, because respect is cheaper than misfortune, and easier than testing whether fear is superstition or warning. I still do the small rituals I was shown without really admitting to myself that I remember every step, pouring milk slowly and speaking softly, telling something I can't see that I am grateful and that I am trying. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's cultural symbolism. Maybe it's loneliness dressed as faith. But I don't want to find out the hard way. I tell everyone I don't fully believe in it, but I also don't stop, because some things don't care whether you believe in them or not. And I don't want misfortune to come knocking just because I wanted to feel brave. So I keep it, and I carry on, and I sleep with the light outside the door left on, and on some nights, I wake because I feel that same small presence standing near my bed. Not cruel, not kind, just there. And I close my eyes again and tell myself it's nothing, even as I whisper goodnight into the dark.